Okay, welcome back. And we're looking at the female suicide bombers that have killed dozens in Gwoza now. As of this morning, there's been a news item that well, it has risen to 23. The death toll has risen to 23. Of course, we're waiting on the Nigerian army to confirm that. But our expert helping us to look at this situation is Brigadier General Sani Kukashema, retired, strategic communications expert and former director, Nigerian Army Public Relations. He's in our Abuja studio. Thank you for staying with us, General. And well, just before we went on break, Professor Edmund from Enugu had said that part of the things that are also, certainly a serious problem is a lack of loyalty, a lack of integrity in the whole campaign against these people. His allegation that so many diverse people are actually benefiting from the insecurity, and so in between a lack of loyalty and sabotage, it's making the whole job more difficult. How much stock do you place on this particular aspect of the challenge, that we have enemies within? Because if we were to be able to wipe it out, that is, wipe out this reign of terrorists and terrorism, then a lot of people will be out of remuneration, out of money, because they are actively benefiting from the continuance of the situation.
I think I would like to thank the professor for his kind words, and as a matter of fact, it may interest him to know that I was in Enugu for almost 9 years, so we can understand ourselves better, me and him. By the way, I think he's just referring to the concept of war economy, an economic system that revolves around complex situation. People benefit from it, so they would like to perpetuate it. Take, for instance, despite the fact that these terrorists are committing heinous crime, to someone, supplying logistic or information to him is just a business. The issue of morality does not even come into play. But of course, there are other things that fuel it. Take, for instance, drugs, weapons, and information, and so on and so forth. So it's quite right. And of course, corruption is one of the bane of the Nigerian society. And it cut across various sectors. And then the earlier it is addressed, the better. But most importantly, it is not the issue of corruption, but an issue of governance. There is no way you can be dealing with security challenges with a divided house. Therefore, each component of Nigerian society has to be brought on board. In fact, it is no longer a whole society approach, but a whole nation approach, in the sense that each and every one of us has a role to play, regardless of the extraneous variables. Religious belief, political affiliation, gender, and so on. Everybody has a role to play. But of course, the government needs to mobilize all of us to have a sense of direction, so that the issue of security is faced squarely by each and every one of us, so that right from the commander-in-chief to the last man in the trench, the armed forces or the security forces are on the same page. Right from the president down to all the leaders, regardless of either political, religious, community leaders, and the man on the street, they are on the same page. They have agreed that, look, we are facing an existential threat, so we should face it squarely. So each and every one also, just like the national security strategy has envisaged, but I think the issue is issue of coordination and having the political will to ensure. And of course, most importantly, giving timelines and emphasizing on monitoring and evaluation. So with this kind of, if these things are followed, most of the challenges that we're having can easily be, they might not necessarily be eliminated, but could be minimized. And that will even address the issue of the hunger Mohammed was talking about. Because if there is good governance, there will be good policies that will impact on the people. And the people will have a sense of belonging, they will contribute. Why is it in other climes, people are far more security conscious than in this climate? Simply because they don't think to be active stakeholders in the Nigerian state. And we have to give them more sense of belonging, and the sincerity of purpose to a large extent will help in doing that. And it will even make the security agencies' job much, much easier. We have time-tested conflict resolution mechanism. We shouldn't allow issues to escalate. Why don't you take advantage of this national unity building? There are so many groups, youth group, women group, the traditional, the religious leaders, each one of them has a role to play. Harmonize them. And of course, those that are elected should be more accountable. And you will see that things are getting better.
Okay. Abdul Samad in Abuja. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, sir. How you doing, sir?
Very well, thank you. Please go ahead.
So please, honestly, may God be with you, sir. Good morning, sir. Good morning. Please, I have a problem, sir. Hello, sir.
Go ahead, Abdul Samad.
Abdul Samad, I think we are hearing you.
We're hearing you
also.
There was a
Unfortunately, we lost him, right?
Yes, unfortunately. Now, of course, the world has reacted to this. It's a global village. Everybody heard about this virtually as soon as it happened. And there have been, thoughts from around the world. For instance, we hear that Amnesty International has bemoaned the situation. Indeed, they are saying that the needful has to be done so that the gains that we have made as a country, that is our, defense forces have made for us as a country, are not rolled back against Boko Haram. Indeed, that thought is out there now that, well, with Boko Haram coming back in this way, I don't know that they have actually verbally claimed it formally, but everybody is highly suspicious of the fact that it just could be Boko Haram. Do you feel also, General, that along with those who are making that commentary, gains against them are being pushed back now, rolled back on, and that we might not be in as good a place as we were before? Or might that be a hasty kind of conclusion?
I think it might be a hasty conclusion in the sense that when you look 15 years ago where we were, in fact 10 years ago, where we were and where we are now, there is, noticeable difference. You understand? You remember way back here in the Federal Capital Territory, all the symbol of security and democracy were desecrated. The UN building, the police headquarters, Mogadishu cantonment. Then, of course, Banex Plaza, the bus terminal. And moving from point A to B, the number of checkpoints. In fact, you are not even so sure when you go out to work whether you come back alive. Remember Madala and all the rest of them.
It was very bad.
These guys have been pushed back to northeast to, in fact, Borno State to Sambisa, and Lake Chad. So, and I know countries like Colombia, they spent 58 years fighting insurgency. But here we are. We made substantial progress against all odds. Remember, the Lihi law was used against us when we desperately needed the weapons to fight these criminal elements. They were denied us. So against all odds, we made substantial progress. So I think we look at this, even though it is so painful, so horrible, but it should be looked at as an isolated incident that we need to put our acts together. People should not panic. They should rather cooperate and support to ensure that it did not happen. We have had several instances of higher, casualties than this. So I know it is worrisome and it's disturbing, and that is why our hearts are with the good people of Gwoza, and it is heartwarming that Amnesty of all organizations understand the fact that we have made substantial progress when they are even among the antagonists, when the military were fighting the insurgents at the very beginning. So it is heartwarming. So I think we need to rally around to support them, to ensure that the right thing is done, more security consciousness. Those that aided and abated these dastardly crimes are fished and punished. And of course, from there, we take it on. It is not just Gwoza. It is not Polka or any other place. Everywhere people should be mobilized to be more security conscious. Like I said, one of the suicide bombers was not indigenous to the community because he was even asking for direction. Under normal circumstances, the person she was asking ought to have been more security conscious and understand that she looked odd and she was looking restless and alert the security forces. So these are some of the issues and so many things like that. So I think
let me say, General, I beg your pardon, General.
People not to panic.
Yes, okay, I beg your pardon, General. Let me bring on Funsha, who has called in from Minna in Niger State. Good morning, Funsha.
Uncle Yori, welcome back.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Yeah, Uncle Yori, good morning to your guest too.
Yes.
Uncle Yori, let me start by saying, let me just start by saying, let me comment on what the professor had just said. You see, I believe people are benefiting from these things, really. But you know, the person was saying the military too are benefiting. I disagree with that because why would somebody like to be in war forever and not wanted to live? I don't think that is possible. The military are putting in their best, killing, dying every day with this insurgency. How will you tell people that, yeah, who are involved in taking this? I'm not totally disagreeing with him, but I don't think the military would be happy to be in war throughout their lifetime. No, I don't think. See, this security is everybody's problem. Everybody's problem. That's one. Number two, the communities.
No, sorry, Funsho. It's not the military that wants a continuation of the engagement.
No, what I'm saying, the professor said they are benefiting.
Well, that certain people, well, okay, yeah, you're right. You're right. He did accuse. Yeah.
Why would you want to be in war? No, nobody would like to go to war and come back.
Yeah. But okay. We'll find out from the general. I don't think that's the mainstream of the army, but we'll find out from the general.
Now, the communities too. They are the activists, what have you, the chiefs, the emirs within the local government. They are the people. They should talk to them. The military are trying their best. I believe the military would not like to be in war forever.
Okay.
I think so. Please, the military, they should give them kudos because they are putting in their best. They are people's father, they are people's uncles, sleeping in the bush every day while we are sleeping in our house with our family.
Okay.
Please. Thank you very much.
All right then. Thank you very much, Brigadier General. What do you say to that? Because yes. That call-in had said that you can't even trust everybody within the army. So I was trying to interject that it's very unlikely that would be the mainstream of the army, but there will be bad eggs perhaps, but it's not really a question that I can respond to. How do you react to that position, sir?
Yeah, I understand where he's coming from, and I think it's quite understandable, and it is very true. Simply because, and if you make reference to my earlier talk, I made mention of time-tested conflict resolution mechanism that we shouldn't allow things to escalate. It's a very reference to the fact that actually the military, ought to have been some of the security challenges ought to have been dealt with so that the military can concentrate on others. Take, for instance, we're in the midst of fighting terrorism and insurgency, suddenly another beast came up, banditry and kidnapping in the Northwest. Now it is a security challenge that is of its own, that in fact the people of the Northwest are facing existential threat. And what is it? It's just hardest farmers' conflicts or clashes that was mishandled. And that is how it brought us to here. And if you look at even at the onset of the Boko Haram terrorism, way back 2009 or thereabout, when they were cleared out of Maiduguri, the ringleader, Mohammed Yusuf, was arrested by the military and handed over. But unfortunately, simply because there was no coordination and everybody is not on the same page, the extrajudicial killing, and this is how we are brought to where we are now. So the thing is, there is a lot to be done in terms of mobilizing the components of Nigerian society so that people that are supposed to be doing certain things, they do it and they do it very well, so that the military will be the last option. We are even so lucky that we are surrounded by good neighbors. For instance, if God forbid, Niger or Cameroon decide, or Benin Republic decide to chance Nigeria, where will you do? I mean, where will you go to, or what will you do?
Let me squeeze in, General. General, I beg your pardon, General. Let me squeeze in Mazi Okorafor, who has just called in. Mazi Okorafor, 30 seconds, please. Go ahead.
Honest, look, local government should provide what we call drones, number one. Number two, the vigilantes we have should be proactive. That is, government should encourage that, the local government authorities should encourage them. Gather their team, 2 forces between that work. And this issue of people sitting down waiting for government to do that, it's not possible. And people, before they do any ceremony, they should have a guard or that security agent to guide them. I mean, the local vigilantes. I didn't say to go and bring police or soldier. Bring vigilantes to guide everybody coming in and going out to search them, at least.
Okay, Mazi Okorafor, I beg your pardon. We've completely run out of time. I have to give the General time to comment on your contribution. He's saying that don't wait on government for everything. Self-help can also be of help here, of assistance here, when we're talking about warding off this vicious foe.
He is quite right. In fact, I was coming to the fact that we are talking about good governance. The local government system is not working. Very few are performing optimally. So I think there is need for the local government system to be up and doing, so that some of these security challenges, actually they are local. And if the local government system is working, the people know themselves, so they can easily deal with it, and they can secure themselves better.
Okay, General, we've completely run out of time. We've completely run out of time. But I want to thank you very much, sir, for coming on. Brigadier General Sonny Kukashenka, retired, strategic communications expert and former director of Nigerian Army Information. He's been our guest today. Thank you very much for your insight into the tragedy that we had on our hands. Thank you so much.